Okay, hi, welcome back. So, I've been thinking a lot about remote work, mostly because I've not been as productive as I would like at work, and that has also been feeding into what I'm doing creatively. I want to be able to perform at a relatively high level at work. I think that will also feed into my creative life. Basically, the problem is when I'm not productive at work, it really starts to consume my mind and I feel bad about it. I feel guilty, and it just really hinders my creative output and just my spirit in general. I feel depressed. So I just got back from New York City. Most of my team is in New York City. I'm remote. And it was kind of like this revelation moment for me where immediately I felt the energy in the room and I felt like re-energized. So nice to be with the people that I work with every single day in the same room. For context, I've been working remotely since the situation in 2020 where we had so many companies, so many of the smartest, most capable leaders or whatever in the world being, remote first, saying we can get as much done remotely at home, being comfortable as we can in the office. We can cut down commute times and people are going to be able to spend time with their families, etc. And initially, and let me be clear, I'm very pro remote work. However, it's been in the back of my mind for a while that hey, maybe this is actually not so good. It's not as good as I thought it would be. Okay, so recently I've been learning a new technology, Kotlin, backend work, yada, 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 our company domain specific tech as well. But I'm doing it all by myself in my apartment. I can bug people on Slack and Zoom them, but it's just proving to not be enough in this case. And so when I get stuck on something, I feel like such low energy. Like it really is like pulling teeth to get anything done or resolved. You know, that ability to just tap on your coworker's shoulder and ask them a question or get them to actually show you. I think it takes about, a tenth of the energy that it does on Zoom. Yeah, and I just felt like so re-energized just being with people in person that it just made me question my environment and how work fits into my life and how I can change my environment to just have a better life. Because I spend so much time and with these people, and I don't want to feel like I'm, really, really slow, I'm just lagging, tired, not productive. Yeah, maybe some of it is due to corporate America. It's like I can blame America so much. And I want to. It's so easy to just be uh, like America, capitalism. And it's just the reality of the situation. But it just gets me thinking I love where I live so much. I love Southern California. Things like this, being able to just bike, being next to the ocean, everything is beautiful. Everyone is beautiful. I just feel so lucky to be here. But when it comes to actually getting stuff done from a working standpoint, it's really hard to get that energy and that momentum when you're by yourself. Think a lot about flow state. If I'm able to get into flow more often, I think I'm just gonna have a better time all around. It's gonna help me be consistent not only in my creative life, but also with my professional career. Because here's the thing, working remotely can get you especially if you're doing the same thing you've always done and you know how to do it and you can just you can get by, that's great. However, getting to the next level is just that much harder and it's annoying. So this is clearly just my experience, and I'm curious what yours is. I know some people have just worked remotely and their environment has just, I don't know how they're able to do it, but they just kill it all the time. Like just something about it works for them. Maybe something about their family, something about their kids. I don't know. I also wonder if it's a neurotypical thing. I really feel like I just get distracted so easily. Sometimes it makes me wonder, how would I be if I were on Vyvanse or Adderall, you know? Like maybe this is just an ADHD problem. I really, really don't know. And I know this is like a little taboo or whatever, but what if I experimented? What if I just tried just once to see how it made me feel? Obviously, being as safe as possible with it. I don't know if I'll include that in this video, but I'm just trying to be real with you. As beautiful as this place is, and how much it really feels like home, it's like if I really wanted to solve this problem, to move or find a different job or a different team, well, no one really has an office in Santa Barbara, so sometimes I think about making my own company, like the Santa Barbara software company, but I don't know how I do that. So it's equally hard because I love my coworkers. I love working with them. There's also another angle of like what I'm working on. And I would say like not really been able to utilize my skills as much as I would like to have. I feel very, very proficient in what I do. It doesn't take me that long to do something in my domain. The question is it just ridiculous, or not ridiculous, but is it just too much to ask to be productive during work and in turn have a productive creative life? I know that there will be ebbs and flows, but I want a higher baseline than I currently have. And I guess, you know, in the down times I'll have to be a real portrait of stoicism or something. But ideally I want to be in a place where I'm killing it over and over again. And maybe that just takes some recalibration in my environment or like how I do things. I guess I also want to back up and question why I'm really trying to achieve this balance in the first place. Why is it such a problem to me? Why is it such a big priority? Because a lot of my friends, and I've asked them about this, just really don't care too much to be creative or, you know, quote unquote. They're happy just putting their time in and not worrying about having to be creative. Or maybe if I was just like full on working on something that I wanted to work on, and that is a possible solution. But what I really, really want to work on is just something creative, and realistically it's just not going to make money. So I need to have this balance. If I were on my deathbed tomorrow, I would most regret not going for the creative thing, or not trying to do the thing that I really wanted to do. Life seems too short to not try and do what you really love. And I know that is so cheesy. I just felt cringe come out of my mouth. I feel cringe come out of my mouth all the time, really. But all right, before we go on, I just gotta show you where we are, because this is one of my favorite towns of all time. I love coming here. It feels like a town that is still in the 1950s, and it hasn't really changed too much. It's still got that same pace of life. I realized that I'm talking in vagueness and abstractness. So when I'm talking about like the struggle of being creative, I'm in my case, I'm really talking about songwriting. And for songwriting, and I think this is a blanket case for most creative things that you want to be good, is that it just takes a while to get in the groove of things. It takes a while to really just connect and realize what you are trying to create. For example, sometimes I'll just be in my room circling around for hours on end and not come up with anything that I like. But the next hour, I hit this breakthrough and I'm writing these things that I love and I end up using. But if it wasn't for that 6 hours previously spent, I probably wouldn't have gotten that breakthrough and I wouldn't have gotten to where I want to go. So it just takes a lot of time and energy and patience. And so the ask of that time, that patience, that energy, along with working the typical job is, I guess, what I'm struggling with. And it's entirely possible that I just don't have the best approach, and maybe I should consider different approaches, like how can I do the same thing in 30-minute increment blocks? Also, for somebody with ADHD, I think the context switching is particularly bad. I have a hard time, or I just really can't effectively, turn on music brain and then 30 minutes later turn that off and then turn on work brain. It doesn't work like that. I wonder if it does work like that for other people. But how this ties into remote work is that energy, that time that I'm wasting just kind of spinning and not actually getting anything done. That time eventually eats into my creative time as well. So that's what I really want to improve. There's just so many moving pieces. It feels like you have to be in the right environment, have the right people around you. It's just like you kind of have to have this perfect storm to really be exceptional, I feel. And I'm wondering like how I can just get myself into that state more often. And when you're ineffective, you just kind of like, you really lose steam. You really lose that momentum. It makes it that much more difficult. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean. I heard somebody say kind of early on that you have infinite energy to do the things that you're excited about and seemingly no energy to do the things that you're not excited about. And yeah, I just find that to be very, very true. And that is my life right now, really. I wish it weren't. If one thing's for certain, I need to get myself out of the place that I'm in now and back to being happy, healthy, and having fun. Isn't that just the ultimate things I'm thinking about? I think one aspect that also makes this tricky is that the environment that you create for yourself is just that. It's for you. Everyone has their own environment where they're going to thrive, based on their personality, where they are in life, etc. I feel like I have to figure it out for myself. But maybe it's not so unique, and maybe this is just something that needs to be uncovered. Also, quick note that I just want to acknowledge that I feel very, very privileged to have this be my issue. There are people with way, way, way worse issues, and I'm having a great time for the most part. And yeah, I just feel very, very lucky to be able to be worried about these sorts of things. But I think the reality is like a lot of people, like there must be a lot of people in this position, right? It is truly wild to me. And it made me so happy that so many people watched my last video and people commented. Like there was one comment that was like, oh, this made me rethink some things. And there was another comment that was just, somebody who had the same problem, and we're raising awareness over here. You're not alone if you are also dealing with this. I feel like a lot of us are dealing with this right now because us tech workers, a lot of us are in a bit of a lull because the landscape has changed so much. We're seeing this huge, huge shift to, AI, and even before that, it feels like very, very back-end focused. Everything's back-end driven. And not to say that back-end engineers don't have this same problem. Maybe it's a big tech problem. I don't think it's related to any specific domain. I think you could have this problem at any job. I hope that somebody's watching this video and maybe has ideas, or like even if you want to share your point of view on remote work, or a similar struggle with being creative, please. I love to talk about these things. This is just what plays on my mind in the background all the time. So, okay, I'm gonna go do some exploring. Check in with you next week. Let me know your thoughts. Don't miss me too much. I know it's tough. I don't like goodbyes. I don't. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye.